Welcome to our show today, Man Unveiled. I'm honored and humbled to have you around. Thank you, viewers, for joining in. My name is James Ireri, your host for the day, and this program is Man Unveiled. We are such honored to have a great conversation, which we left previous episode, and we're going to continue from there, trying to pick up pieces and building value in men and even the family in general, to be able to place, rediscover, restore the lost glory of men and man in the society, and especially giving back them the identity of respect. And we have none other than our friend here, Ernest, a great friend to this show, and a great panelist today. Welcome on board, sir.
Asante.
Feel at the right place.
Asante sana.
Introduce yourself
Yes.
to the viewers and we can kick on.
My name is Ernest Nyingi. A legacy leadership consultant and an execution coach. Legacy leadership basically means work with leaders who want to make a difference, whether at home, in their own personal lives, where they work in business. I also help individuals as a coach. I'm a career coach actually with an organization called Fuzu, but we also help individuals who want to fulfill goals so that the things God has given to you can become a reality.
Awesome.
Want people fulfilled and happy because of that. Yeah, and that's what I do, and I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
To be invited again. They say in my native language that if you're called again, you must be good.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the honor.
We are glad to have you here, and we'll have you many more times in the future,
Asante.
because you're bringing a lot of wealth, a lot of knowledge and wisdom that can build men to become better men, isn't it?
Yes, very true.
We learn every day. Every day is a learning process, and we can only get better from the previous experience, isn't it?
Yes.
So in our previous episode, we had started talking about why men need respect, and it's a need for them, isn't it?
Yes.
And we agreed and settled the matter that it is not negotiable. As men show love to their wives, but not conditional love, isn't it? The men should flow out and show love 100%. Remember? And we said that in the process, they may or they will get the respect, isn't it?
Yes.
But that does not stop them from loving their wives. I think it's very important to make that very clear, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. Very
Yes.
true.
So today we're going to check and also try to see areas that have been weak points. And men have found themselves in that situation where they feel disrespected.
Yes.
And then from there we'll try to see how to restore men and to restore the value of respect in families and even in marriages. So please take it on.
All right. So I think to just go back and remind our viewers, we said that respect is giving due regard
Yes.
for an individual. In fact, I like to introduce another word I call admiration for
Yes.
a person, interests, who they are,
Yes.
what they're all about, their uniqueness, all those things.
Yes.
And that's what respect looks like.
Yes.
Because you see, if a man is able to receive the respect, especially from his home,
Yes.
you see a man goes outside and faces a lot of challenges.
Yes.
So the one space that they need to feel, you know, this is like the way you take a car to a garage.
Yes.
To be reorganized, realigned, you know, fueled, everything sorted so that it can function.
Yes.
That's what a home should be like. So when a man goes outside and faces rough things and challenges, he already has a strength to manage and maneuver because the home front has already been taken care of. At home, with a man having a very deep need for respect, then they're able to actually face the world as it is.
Wow.
And that's the context of our conversation today.
Yes, yes.
So then now you're asking then, where are the gaps in the issue of respect?
Yes.
So let me begin by giving a few ideas of what men consider disrespect.
Yes. It's very important for us
Yes.
to know those areas.
Yes. And so, for example, you feel disrespected when somebody crosses your boundaries. Like you say, on this issue, I don't want us to talk about it.
Not wanting to talk about it.
Yes.
It's a border.
It's a border. Or they say, I have this value. On this one, I have a definite no. And as at this moment, I'm not changing. So overstepping that particular boundary is a form of disrespect. And I know that is a general context. I know we'll go deep and talk what that looks like.
Yes, yes.
But when you have boundaries and somebody crosses them, they are disrespecting you. The other side of that conversation is, if I'm trying to talk to you and you're not listening to me, That's disrespect. When a man is trying to give his opinions in his scattered words, sometimes men may not be as emotional and having logical order when they are sharing. Because there are some who may actually struggle in that regard. And most men are, you know.
They're not very cohesive.
Yeah, in terms of the ideas and what they want, sharing the reasons behind it, they say, you know, I don't want this. And they say, look, I don't have all the explanations, but I just don't want this. Or they're actually in a space where they want to share their thoughts. And they have very scattered thoughts.
Yes.
If they are not listened to, you're not a good listener. In that regard, you're disrespecting. And these are just general things. But for a man, they also know deeper because it's already a need. It is also when someone doesn't keep their word. You said you do this, and you don't do it, then you're disrespecting. Because people expect you to behave in a certain orderly way. Or when you make a promise and you don't keep it, then you're disrespecting in that regard. The other one that I like is people who give a compliment that is like a mockery.
A ridicule.
A ridicule. See, say, yeah, you're always very smart, by the way. Yeah, we know. There's a taint of, it's not like genuine. It's almost like a critique. You know,
Yes.
the way you want to tell someone, you are trying, but you're not trying.
You're trying, but you're not trying.
Yes. In fact, it is easier to actually say you failed than say, well, you keep believing you're trying. You know?
Yes.
So being, giving, you know, we call them back-end compliments. It's like you're trying to say it and you're not saying it. It can be able to, the person receiving, and especially it's a man. In fact, usually
it's a coded language, kind of
yes,
trying to tell him.
but has a taint of mockery in it. And women may understand what I mean. You're saying, I like the way you try. You're trying.
You're trying.
Yes, but you have a lot to do in trying.
Yes.
So you would rather say, Apa, you're down.
Yes.
You know, uko poa, you know, work on it. Straight up than guided, hidden. Sometimes I like to say men like it straight. If you're sorting me, sort me straight. Told me, honest, goofed on this one. But there's hope.
Yes.
But you've goofed.
Yes.
It's clear. It's easier for it to work. Then the other one is, it could also be not keeping appointments. And women may know this. Women tend to prepare. If a man says we need to have left by 12, and then 12 is the time you are starting to finish.
Starting to finish at 12.
Yes. Then that's disrespect. Because maybe in his mind he has reorganized things and he knows.
Men are very structural in their minds.
Yes, they are like, we need to live by here. I remember there's one leader who told me that when the time comes for him to go, he goes. And the wife has learned to align.
And deals with the repercussions there.
Yes, yes, like, you wake up early, sort your things, by this time we need to be at the gate. You see, for a woman, it's like, see, you love me, see, you wait for me, I was organizing.
Some situations it can work, for others it may not work.
The reality is this, we are trying to define what is disrespect.
True.
If you don't honor a time commitment that is required, in a sense,
that
is disrespect.
The same way you'll honor an appointment for your flight.
Yes.
The same way you should honor the gentleman's appointment.
Yes.
In terms of the time you agreed.
Yes.
Wow.
It is that easy.
It's that serious.
Yes. And you see, some of those small forms of disrespect look so small, but to the person who has a need for it, it is not small. It's like a woman expects to be told, I love you.
Yes.
When the guy doesn't say, the woman is not sure. Am I still important? Yes. You know? But you see, if the man is saying consistently, meeting that need, then spot on. They are loving. So when a man feels that the things that he mentions are taken for granted.
Honestly, something you said about mentioning some words with a pinch of salt, in some kind of ridicule and mockery.
Yes.
What about situations that women have said things,
yes,
but they really don't mean them? And the men know, I can decipher this one is not just a compliment. It's a compliment, yes, to anybody who is listening in the room.
Yes.
But you know, deep inside, she does not act that way thereafter. Have you ever had that kind of double personality? A person, or you've experienced people who have had that situation.
Yes.
When you're in front of people,
yes,
the person will talk greatly about you and show a lot of respect to you. But deep down, you know, the person does not hold any respect for you.
Yes. And I know women may call it covering.
Okay.
Yes. You know, in fact, there's, I remember a situation where a man says, I know that I'm very good when we have people.
Okay.
And it could be maybe the wife has challenges with pleasing people,
Yes.
showing like I'm higher
Yes.
and my husband is the best.
Yes.
But then when they are together, this
Yes.
man is put in his place in that regard.
Yes.
And the problem is when you have a need, you know it is met. Let me give a practical example.
Yes.
Men who have a love language need for words of
Okay.
affirmation, they like compliments. They can tell genuine from fake. They can say, this person deeply actually knows what I do, and they want to genuinely tell me that I'm important to them. If it's not an issue of performance, I actually love the way you are. I don't have to change you. You don't have to act better.
Yes.
I appreciate very credible things that a person does.
Yes.
If you only appreciate in presence of people, but you don't do it on a private, personal way, then there's a question about that quote-unquote respect that you say you have.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It's like, I remember there's a couple that I was working with some time back, a while ago, and they were saying, you see, Jim, now, sometimes we have to act, because in the presence of visitors, we are this very lovely, respectable couple. But when the visitors step that door, we go back to our default settings. What happened to such a people?
I think it's in humanity, the need to show that we are okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of lack of authenticity where people are not real.
Yes.
It's like we must present a nice picture.
A perfect picture to the
Yes,
others.
of how we are doing. And you know what? Maybe in that group of people who came, someone had your solution. But because you never opened up and say, hey, you know what? And I'm not saying like you pour all your dirty clothes in public, but you should actually be able to get to a space where you say, look, if you have challenges, don't act okay. Or say, hey, pray for us, we are trying to manage through something.
True.
You see, because the ministry that is missed out by couples not being real.
And I
is
think that's
huge.
that's what I was trying to tell you.
Yes.
Where the space of being honest
Yes.
and forthright
Yes.
is like pushed down, because I need to show respect to this guy and I need to show love to this woman. But in fact, I had a certain conversation, some counselor speaking somewhere and said, the things that are ruining marriages are not the things that we say,
Yes.
are the things that we don't say.
Yes. True.
Do you agree with that?
100%. And I can give evidence in terms of, and I gave an example.
Yes.
For example, love languages.
Yes.
Most people know that my partner probably has a need.
Yes.
Like, for example, we in our early marriage, in my wife, we had this conversation where we used to make this joke.
Yes.
It's like, Ernest, you love compliments.
Yes.
So, hey, you are very good. Wow, you are good. And you know, and we laugh at it because I know it's actually she's making fun of me.
She's making fun of it.
Yeah, like, because I used to tell her, if you're going to tell me I'm good, make a big deal out of it.
Yes.
And she used to say, yeah, an odd moment, so we'd end up laughing.
Yes.
But the truth is, she was we actually communicate a point.
Yes.
You can actually mock something that is actually a need. Yes. But genuinely, you can actually be able to tell when someone is authentically meeting that particular need.
Yeah.
And for men, that need for respect. For the woman, that need for love.
Yes.
Somebody can tell genuinely when you're doing it. Yes.
That this person really means what they're saying.
And I mean what they are saying.
And some of them may not say much,
Yes.
but you know, deep inside they mean it.
I don't believe in faking it until you make it. Because I don't think you can.
Yes.
But you can speak in faith.
Because it's not sustainable.
Yes, but you can speak in faith.
Yeah,
I see you becoming
Amen.
a very great man.
Yes.
Right now, there are these challenges, but I see.
Yes.
And you're able to show someone that there's actually a better picture of what you can become.
There's a possibility.
There's a possibility. There's hope. You know, I mean, God is at work in us.
Yes.
Both
Faith
to will and
and
to do for His good pleasure.
Yes.
But so, because God is at work and He's able to, then you can actually convey that reality of there's hope. It's not lost. But then you can also, there's also the other side of saying, yeah, one day you're going to become.
Yes.
You're a wannabe in that regard.
Yes.
And so the feeling will be, you actually don't believe any good
Can
is in
come
me.
out of, yeah.
And I think it is Bartholomew who said, was it? Who said, you know, can anything good come out of one of those disciples?
Nazareth, yes.
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 And the idea here is this. This person looks and they're like, it is not possible for anything. But you know what? When people get married, they marry potential.
True.
So
'Cause
what
nobody
you
knows.
believed can become, you need to actually speak into it and support it and bring out.
Awesome.
I actually tell women, as I tell men, that you can actually bring the best out of your partner, not the beast. Because you have the opportunity. Life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yes.
You can actually speak things that are not there until they become. You
Yes.
can, you know, it's possible to actually respect a man
Yes.
into him becoming a very respectable person.
Yes.
Yes.
A lot of these narratives have been shaped and modeled by the social media.
Yes.
And we have seen people washing their dirty linen in the public, and later on, like kind of regretting why they had to let the cat loose in terms of everybody knowing about whatever was happening, the weaknesses in whatever you get, the weaknesses in the men, the weakness in their women. Later on, it's very hard to undo. You know, the footprints on the social media are you cannot delete them.
Permanent.
They're permanent. You say a mean thing to somebody, social media may remind you one day. Of course, there's room for transformation, changing, and becoming a good person, a great person. But there are some remnants of footprints on the social space that will never be deleted, isn't it? So even the more need to be kind, isn't it?
Yes.
To tolerate one another,
Yes.
to talk privately, disagree in a honorable way, isn't it?
Yes.
Haven't we seen people disagreeing things even on the social media? They are responding one to another, and they're in the same house.
Yes. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So what we are trying to say is that there may be some conflicts,
Yes.
but there should be no room to expose one another in terms of disrespect, isn't
Yes.
it?
True.
And also showing hatred to other people, to your spouse. Instead, you should cover them when they go wrong, isn't it? With love. The Bible says that love
Covers
a multitude of
yes, sins.
Yes. What would you like to say about that?
Well, I'd say this. We have a situation where God creates a perfect thing called marriage,
Yes.
but has two imperfect people.
Yes.
And everyone, you can actually look at something and want to see the best in it,
Yes.
or the worst in it. You make a choice.
Yes.
At the point of when we are, courting and loving, we think this is the best person. They will never have issues.
Yes.
In fact, if somebody told you go for premarital counseling, they're like, for what?
For what?
We love each other.
This is
We feel each other.
Yes.
There's no way we're going to have problems.
Yes.
Now, that faith that you had that this person can is actually what we say should continue throughout marriage. Where you believe that if God brought this particular person, or you chose this person, there's imminent good in them. And trusting that God and your work supporting can actually bring out the best in them.
Yes.
The opposite is also true, where you can say, look, I'm going to focus on everything you don't do, everything you don't say, everything you know. And because you don't do it, I will not respect you for it. You can also live that way.
So is it a reason why at the initial moment, the formative years of marriage, there's a lot of high regard, great respect,
Yes.
love flowing from one side to the other?
Yes.
But after several years,
Yes.
watu wanaanza fanya nini? Kuzoeana.
Yes.
Mtu anaanza tu madharau kidogo kidogo. And then gradually it builds up to be a big monster.
Yes.
And then at one point you can't handle it, isn't it? And then children come into the picture. Now it's really a big mess, isn't it?
Yes. And it's true, because the other side of that conversation is this.
Yes, sir.
You see, if throughout life I married this person, I always tell guys who are planning marriage this,
Yes.
that you married this person, how you treated them during courtship, those 2 dates you used to go, those things, those are the things that will sustain that marriage.
Yes.
Because a person believes that the way you respected who they are when they had nothing, that's the same way you will always see them. So they marry you because of the entrusted thing that you gave to them. Because there had to be evidence that you gave to them that they felt, and yeah, you are the right person for me. So when we get into now in the deep end now, we forget those very specific things. That whatever brought you together in courtship. So if you are lying in courtship, you need to continue to lie all through. Let me put it this way.
Yes.
When I say lie,
Yes.
if you showed your partner that we do this relationship by going for outings, and we have dates, and we talk for long hours, you are actually telling your partner, this is what will happen for the rest of our lives. And so they respect you and they want to stay with you because of the things you're doing before marriage.
But don't you think sometimes the hunter formulates ways to keep the other party interested?
That besides, but you see, what you sell to me is what I buy. So I sold to my wife.
We are in a generation of faking it.
Yes.
Till we make it.
But it will never, you see, that's where the problem is. That's why I said one of the biggest challenges and bringing the root of some of these problems is that we lied to each other when we were starting. So I showed you that, I showed my wife, in our dating when we were courting, oh, I'll always, once a while I'm going to take you out.
You set the benchmark.
Yeah, very high. And so now when we are in,
you are not sustaining.
Guess what? I am expected to be respectable to continue what I said I would do. And that's where disappointments come. So I say, this guy lied to me. He always told me, you'll do this. Told me, you'll always listen to my opinion. I remember when you're in courtship, the wish of your girl was your command.
Yes.
I wish I'd go for an outing. Guess what you do?
You make it possible.
Make it possible.
Yes.
Then when you get married,
yes.
I wish you'd go for an outing. Yes. We don't have money. Are we going to pay rent or this?
Yes.
See, you've already, in that regard, you cannot be respected because you don't keep the word that you started. So I tell people, I'm not saying you have to remain the standards very high, but you owe yourself to go back and check, how did we start this thing? And what are things I can continue to do? Because I also need to be respected by my wife. But what is her benchmark? You showed me this.
But Ernest, I think you should also be real to the reality. Yes. That sometimes so many things shift. And we should also be flexible. I think also that's very important.
Yes.
In the family setup.
Yes.
Flexibility. I'm not saying that we be mediocre.
Yes.
I'm not saying that we should change people.
Yes.
I'm just saying at one point men feel the great need to be a bit realistic now. We were eating pizza 3 times a week.
Yes.
Now we are paying school fees, so we may not be able to eat pizza every three days.
But you see, that's where things are wrong. That's where a man is thinking the wrong thing.
Okay.
Because you see, they are assuming the date is amounts. I happen to be on the other side where I grew up, my love language is time.
Yes.
I love hooking, spending time with people. Majority of the women actually got hooked to their men because they were available. Spend time with them, give them. Once in a while, took them out. It's not in the how much you spend, but that you actually show the action. Sometimes for women, the issue is motive. Do you actually want to make me feel as nice as you did before we got married? It's not that you spent $1 million shillings.
Yes.
If the money, God provides the money, for sure, go. There are certain decisions that a man makes and says, look, I actually told this girl, promise this girl, this and this. I showed her this and this. What we are saying is, you're consistent and you want to be respected that you're a consistent man. Go back to what you said. There's a verse in the Bible that says, go to the crossroads.
Yes.
And check from the road where you are. And go back to that road. Even in Revelation it says, go back to your first love.
Yes.
Because you see, by the end of the day, a woman, the way I have seen in my small understanding, and I grew up in between 2 sisters, and a very strong mom with a personality. Yes. I have learned women are very easy to love. In fact, we're easy to love in this regard. You just figure out what it is that they have. You've said before and do it. As simple as that. It's not high expectation. Women enjoy, again, they marry potential.
Yes.
You promised 2 outings. Do you know you can do a walk and eat a smoky? And that's it.
Yes.
Drink a cup of tea. What we do with the boys, we should do with your girl.
We are in a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Eat ndoma, whatever. But the thing is, by the end of the day, you want a functional relationship.
True. I was just...
Yes. My point in this conversation is this. You want to be respected, right? You want to be respected. Go back and say, what causes woman to fall in love with you? What were you doing? And begin there. Once in a week, I used to make sure I call her.
Yes.
So, what does it cost you, Bona Jim?
Yes.
In the middle of your work?
Yes.
Just pick your phone and say, hi babe, I'm thinking about you.
Yes.
Thank you for choosing me.
Yes. Wow. Great.
Don't complicate this thing called, because loving someone, as we said, women understand love. That's their need. It's not a want. The same way a man has a deep need for respect, a woman also has. So let's do it to each other. Now imagine a husband who's looking for all the best ways possible to love the wife.
Yes.
And a woman who's looking for all the ways possible to be respectful. That's an amazing marriage.
It's an amazing marriage.
And that's what we're aiming for, because we don't listen to each other, disrespect. You don't respect a man, ego kicks in. Oh, you're not important, I look for somebody to come and compliment me. By you are doing something wrong, you've messed up. You offend me. Let me, one more. If you offend a partner, they build a wall. And when they build a wall, they also make certain decisions they will do that cause offense.
Yes.
So now you have more problems in the future, because when you've built a wall, there must be whatever you needed, you look for it. So you end up now starting other things that are wrong. In fact, I tell people, when you notice there's a disconnect in a love relationship, and I know we are talking to guys who are married in this regard.
And who wants to get married?
And those who want to get married, once offense is created, we all look for alternatives of the things we'll do. If you go back and see, most of the things we do are actually a benchmark of we were offended, we were disrespected, and so we looked for alternatives.
Yes.
Messy stuff. Same thing on the side of the woman. It's like, you know what, you don't love me, let me hang out with my girls.
Yes.
And so you can never, so the charmers become many and she's never available. And you're like, I thought your love language was time. Yes, I spend time with my girls, you are not available. And so what have we created?
Yes.
So coming back to the space where we say, so at which point did I stop disrespecting you? At which point did I stop loving you the way you have always wanted? And begin to work from there.
Wow.
Yes.
I think that's very powerful. And as I think I was listening to you, there are some subtle kind of warnings that you are losing the grip on respect to your husband and love to your wife by those things that which easily slide away from you.
Yes.
Unconsciously.
Yes.
And gradually you find them, you have cemented them in your mind, and they're looking like they're the parties, isn't it?
Yes.
And you are losing ground in your marriage, isn't it?
Yes.
So as you are saying this, it reminded me of so many things. And it reminded me that some of the ways that people feel disrespected is when they are rudely interrupted.
Yes.
And somebody hijacks a conversation.
Yes.
For example, we are talking with you, Ernest, and somebody comes and sits here, and we loop them in the conversation.
Yes.
And before long, they have overtaken and taken all the conversation. So have you ever heard of such situations?
Yes.
You know, I've heard of men who say that when my wife comes, she takes over from me, and I sit back. Yeah?
Yes.
Isn't it a signal that sometimes somebody may feel disrespected?
But we have this joke with my wife, and over time we had to agree on something.
Yes.
So one of the things we agreed on is, if I bring an issue,
Yes.
you must give me enough time to share everything there is. It's taking me.
Yes.
Give me time.
Yes.
Don't interrupt. In fact, in our formative years, I used to get very angry. I'm like, the day you're ready to listen to me, let's talk then. Because if I want to share, and you know, sometimes you can start to say something, and your partner says, I know what you are about to say.
I know what you're about to say. Kindly take a hold. Let's take hold, and I know what you're about to say. In the next session, we're going to hear what you wanted to say. Thank you, viewers. We're going to take a small break, and we'll be coming back later. Thank you.